The world is full of stress, and in the last couple of years, a lot of us have started to take on mindfulness or breathwork practices to try to help deal with that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use your smart home to complement those practices. Hey guys, Chris Young here from Homekit Geek, the channel where we bring you smart home content focused on Apple HomeKit. In this video, I'm going to show you how I'm using my smart home to complement some of the breath work, the breathing exercises that I've picked up in the last couple of years, just to try to help me deal with what goes on in life. If you haven't subscribed already, do me a favor, ring that bell below to be notified when new videos are added. So before we get started here, let's talk about air a little bit. For those of you who've been around this channel a while, you know that air is a passion of mine, and especially there's been a ton of awareness and a ton of research that's been done in the last couple of years as we start to understand it's really important to kind of take care of the air that we're breathing. So the average human does about 20,000 breaths a day, and we should be concerned about what we're putting in our lungs, but it's invisible, so it's hard to know how to do that. I'm gonna put some playlists up here so you guys can check out some videos on some reviews or some thoughts around automations for air purifiers, air quality sensors, those kinds of things. So check that out if you get a chance after you're done with this video. So breathing is a unique thing in the human body in that it's part of the autonomic nervous system, i.e. you can't stop breathing. If you fall asleep, you're gonna breathe. You don't have to think about it, but we can think about it and we can affect our breath, which is kind of interesting and makes it a little different than things like our heartbeat or our brain working, those things, right? Our nervous system that just, it's gonna roll no matter what we do. So the interesting thing about breath is that we can actually use that control to hack the rest of our body. So what do I mean by that? Well, we all know when I get stressed, I get fight or flight instinct, I start breathing harder, I get more oxygen in my body because I might have to run, fight a lion, all those kinds of things. But that also comes into play when I'm late for work and I'm stressed, or my kids are late for school, or when I just had a fight with my significant other. Any of those things can influence your body that way and cause you to have hormonal responses, cortisol, all those kind of stuff start to bubble up in your body, and it can impact your health, especially in a world where we're constantly in a state of stress. On the other hand, if you're really relaxed, you might understand that you start to breathe more relaxed. You kind of have that exhale, that long flowing exhale. So the cool thing is you can use your breathing to influence your body in the opposite direction. So instead of breathing slowly because you're relaxed, you can force yourself to breathe slowly to relax, which is kind of cool. So there's a lot of great content out there that you can learn about this. There's some books here that I'm putting on the screen that I've been going through to learn about this. So what's really interesting about this is that we're starting to pick up and draw from thousands of years of human wisdom, and we're learning that again as a species coming back in, and science is picking it up and starting to look at things and measure it and quantify how just the act of breathing in specific ways can modify how your body reacts. So personally, me, I'm using my Oura Ring, I'm using my Apple Watch, and I have been able to see how just practicing some of these things for even 5 or 10 minutes, I've been able to affect my heart rate variability, I've been able to lower my pulse rate. It's actually kind of cool. So as I'm a smart home person, like most of you probably are, what I've done here is I've complemented some of these practices with my smart home. So let's talk about what we're doing here. I have picked up a IKEA Fado lamp. So this is, as you can see on the screen here, this kind of globe lamp. And these are available in a couple of different formats. Please pick the opaque one for this one in particular. You can get a clear glass, and I found it's just kind of a little bit bright and doesn't give you that right dispersion of the light. So number one, you're gonna need one of these or something else like this. Number two, you're going to need a smart bulb, but not just any smart bulb. You're gonna need a Vocolinc smart bulb like the L3 that I am using here, specifically because they expose some of their dynamic scenes out to HomeKit, and you can trigger those in HomeKit. So if you're doing this in the HomeKit camp, definitely the Vocolinc is probably the only bulb I am aware of right now that exposes these dynamic scenes, the breathing that we're going to be using in this particular way. So if anybody knows of anyone else, or a year from now that comes out, please do me a favor, put that in the comments below so we can get some recommendations here on other bulbs that you can do this with. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to plug in our IKEA lamp, we're going to screw in the light bulb, and we're going to add the new light bulb to our HomeKit home, which is as easy as just scanning in that HomeKit code and then putting it in the proper room. After that, we're going to go over to the Vocolinc app and we are going to first update the firmware. Always do that with all of your devices. Check to see if there's a firmware out there because this stuff is like anything else. There are bugs and improvements that are found and it's just going to give you a better experience. So now that we've got this installed and updated and all that good stuff, we've got it available in HomeKit, we're going to go over to the Vocolinc app and we're going to go into the dynamic scenes here, right? And we're going to look at the breathing ones. Now they've got other ones here that you can look at and they're cool, play around with that. This same technique we're using to make this available in HomeKit as a scene will work with any of these other scenes, but I'm going to focus on the breathing aspect. Now, one thing to be aware of here is there are different types of breathing exercises, and with the Vocolinc in particular, one of the limitations here is you are always going to have the same length of your inhale and your exhale, which is just something to consider here. But I've been able to create a couple different scenarios here. I've been able to do a triangle breathing, so you might have a inhale for 4 seconds, a breathe for 4 seconds, and an exhale for 4 seconds, and then wash, rinse, repeat, right? Or you can do more of a box breathing where you have 4 in, 4 pause, 4 out, 4 pause. All of those kinds of things are possible as long as the actual length of the breath is the same. So just one of the limitations, something to be aware of. So for me personally, one of the things that I try to do is really to create an immersive experience here. So yeah, I can visualize in my head, but if I actually have colors, I can visualize the green, the good air coming in, you know, that yellow pause in the middle, and then as I exhale, the red in my head at least symbolizes all of the stress of the day, all of the bad things going on in my body, all of that, just blowing that out as part of my breath practice. So now that we've got the scene set up, what's really cool about this is I can now use any of the buttons on the screen, any HomeKit controller. So whether that's the Nanoleaf remote, the Philips Hue, the Eve button, the Fabaro button, personally I'm going to use the Aqara button here, and then I've got a couple of these hanging around. And we can use that as a trigger to be able to just turn this on whenever you want without having to grab your phone. So the best part about this is now that I've got this connected to a button, I don't have to worry about anything else. I can sit down, put my phone to the side, disconnect from technology, and I can run this as long as I want, right? Which is kind of awesome. And that brings us to the end of the video. I'd love to hear from you guys how you are incorporating your smart home in some kind of non-traditional uses, like something like this. Do me a favor, put that in the comments below. If you guys have any comments or questions, wondering what I did, how I did it, those kinds of things, I'd love to hear from you guys and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't subscribed already, do me a favor, ring that bell to be notified when new videos are added. Likes, shares, always appreciated. And right about now, either here or here, YouTube should be recommending a video they think you might be interested in next.